thing.
Okay.
I've been doing a little
And
research.
I never get tired of that intro. Again, huge Metallica fan. Love it. Yeah, just love it. Doing my real work and everything, and had a chance to listen in between meetings. Tiffany Burks was on the Larry O'Neill show here in Tarrant County earlier today, and again, she's going for the Tarrant County District Attorney's role up against Phil Sorrells. And actually, you know, I have videos on that from before when Phil was on, and talking about an issue that's kind of near and dear to the entire equal shared parenting community's heart, at least mine. Talking about the 2503 issue, custody interference, which in the state of Texas is a penal code. It's a felony. It's a 2503 in the penal code. Again, we still have people out there that think it's a civil matter or something. A lot of cops, but anyway. So she was talking about, you know, again, we're getting close to the November 8th elections, and she was on, you know, Larry's show. She has, you know, nothing to hide, so she's on the show talking freely about, you know, her plans, goals, who she is, why she does things, and stuff like that. And at the very end, you know, Larry gave her a chance to kind of talk about whatever she wanted to, and she decided to talk about 2503. And versus me blathering on here, you know, let her kind of hear it in her own words, and I'll, of course, be providing commentary at different parts. But I'm just going to say up front, because I've already watched it, obviously put a few extra things in there to help bottom shelf this for folks that are thinking about voting in the election, especially in Tarrant County. But this is what you want in a DA. I mean, she has a great history. She has, I mean, this is a kind of a no-brainer situation here that she should be voted as the district attorney. I mean, her position on this issue alone is just so far and away from Phil Sorrells. It's ridiculous. And so I would just say anyone that's voting in Tarrant County, listen to what she has to say about it. And if you really want change, instead of doing the same old stupid thing, listen to her and see what she's saying. Anyway, here's the video.
Oh, you know, one more thing.
Okay.
I've been doing a little research on 2503, so this is for the 2503 people.
That's good.
And I've come up with an idea of how we can move those cases through the DA's office, and it's going to take buy-in by the police departments. It's going to take buy-in by the family court judges. But I think what we can do
real quickly on that. So yeah, it's going to take buy-in from the police. It's going to take buy-in from the judges. Again, we have another, and we'll be talking to this here in a bit, but we have another election that's for Tarrant County for November 8th, where people will be picking a family court judge, either Republican Beth Palos or Democrat Crystal Gayden. And hopefully those names are familiar to everyone, at least in this community and hopefully out there that aren't involved in the day-to-day. You know, I had provided information earlier about Beth Palos's record as a sitting associate judge in the family courts and how she treats family court folks that show up, and the subsequent, you know, how the impacts on the children, things like that. And again, this is why these elections are so important. We've got to get the right people in the right spots to make a change happen. You can't do the exact same thing over and over and expect something different to happen. This applies in everyone else's life. Why do we expect anything different here? But anyway.
I don't know if you know this, but in criminal trespass cases, you can only file those cases with the DA's office when the police has warned the individual that you can't be here.
And up on the screen is the 4,400 plus calls to the police for custody interference.
I think when it really, I'll go back and say it really saddened me yesterday, because one of my good friends who's a lawyer, I had no idea that she hadn't seen her daughter in 4 years. And she explained to me that the custodial parent simply took the child, and she doesn't even know where the child is anymore.
Is this story familiar to anyone?
She also explained to me that she called the police several times. She's got a card from each police officer. She's got offense report numbers but nothing was ever done. And so while I was talking to her, it came to me. I said, you know what? We should treat these cases where if there is a parent who refuses to allow the other parent to see the child under the orders of the court, then the court needs to give that individual a warning. And when that warning happens,
Reasonable.
then let them know that now that you've been warned, if this continues, then we are going to forward this case to the DA's office for them to review for prosecution. And so I talked to Crystal Gaydon yesterday for a little while about it, and she's certainly on board with doing that. But it's going to require all the judges, because it can't just be one judge. But I think there's a way that we can do it, and I think that it starts with the police departments taking the report and then sending that information to the court.
All right, let me stop it right there. So, several months ago, an unnamed individual called out Tarrant County Sheriff's Wayborn on the lack of doing anything. I can't figure a cool word to use here. Doing anything for arresting, prosecuting, doing anything in the sheriff's capacity or the police capacity for PC 2503. He was actually saying that they were enforcing the law and all that, and some unnamed individual decided that enough's enough and provided data and information back to him that there were over 4,400 calls. It's the 12th highest call that gets sent to in Fort Worth and in Tarrant County to the police department. So it's happening a lot. No, it's number 12 out of 1,500 call types. So that's a ridiculously high number to be number 12 on that list. And since then, he has, apparently talking to everyone else, has decided to go ahead and he's taking action. He's moving forward to educate the police department on what the actual laws are and to start enforcing it. So he's getting on board with that process. And I think by the end of the year, or even sooner, having something in place for that. Now, I've found I don't want to muddy this too much, but I've found that they actually have had access to all of the up-to-date court orders, and they've had that for a really long time. I'm going to be investigating that one a little bit, but again, I'm trying to look at bigger picture here. But short answer here is that he is he's going to fix the issue. I mean, again, we got 4,400 calls, number 12, and it's got to get fixed. So he's taking that step. And again, as Tiffany pointed out, there's got to be that work in tandem, got to hold hands with the judges and with the DA's office. And it blipped up, and I think I have it again here, but in the last 5 years, there's been 13 DA, some amount of involvement by the DA. So you can see where the breakdown has occurred in the family courts and the police and the DA. I mean, all of them equally share in their respective area that they're culpable for this. Because as we all know, when you go in front of the family court judge, it's not what they have in a Matlock movie that the DA or the family court judge is going to do something. We have evidence in current Tarrant County and all over the country. I mean, it's not, we don't want to pick on them. They're pretty good at it, but that they're simply not doing anything with that. People are coming time and time and time again, money, time, to get custody interference enforced, and it's simply not being enforced through the courts or through the DA or by the police. So we have that fix the glitch here. Again, we have a judge, candidate for judge, Crystal Gaydon, that's going up against Beth Paulos here in November 8th. She has said, talked to Tiffany about last night, it sounds like, and she has said in public open forum many times that she will do what's right for families, meaning equal shared parenting. If she gets someone playing games, I think I'm almost quoting her. If someone's playing games, she's going to make sure that's taken care of and get custody of the right person. Make sure the person that is playing said games is taken care of, because she wants stuff getting out of the courts, get it done and get it over with, so everyone can move on with their lives. These are the people who we should be voting for, not the, oh, I'm a good person or I have a cool ad.
In warning them on the record so that they know that they've been warned, and we can prove that in criminal cases if it's on the record. And then those cases being submitted to our office if the person should do it again. And so it's kind of a start, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
We just have to get started somewhere.
I think it's a good plan. I think it is going to require buy-in from the police departments, the family court judges.
They probably will be receptive, because not only me and my show, but Eddie Brown and the Weekly and the Fort Worth Report have talked about it. The Star Telegram's report is, and I still say, send messages to Maddie and the City Council. If we actually were doing this, we're probably the only large county in the United States that is doing it.
Trust me, if some people start getting prosecuted for this offense, people will think twice about doing it.
Oh no, I know.
And that's what has to happen. And
so when Phil came on the last time,
and I'm gonna jump in here because he's going to talk about Phil a little bit. Phil actually, it was weird because when Phil was, the one time he was on Larry's show, they were talking about 2503, and it was just so, it was like an out-of-body experience for me, at least, that he was like, we're not going to do anything. It's important, blah, 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 blah. But we're not going to do anything because of all this other, all the other things we got to take care of and whatever. But then he's talking about people that commit crime, and then they're like on the street still doing it. Well, duh. If you prosecute a couple of them, I mean, again, does everyone need to go out and commit, the bang bang or the borrow people's money indefinitely? I don't know what I can even say anymore because I get banned every other day. But do they? I mean, does everyone? No. You go. I mean, one, you should instinctively know. But hello, this is where we're at in 2022. But you go, oh hey, Bob over there, he played the little game with the old kiddos and stuff, and she whatever got their hiney thrown in the old Oliver and Shawshank for a month or two. Maybe I'm gonna make sure that when it comes time for me to give my kids up, that it actually happens versus playing the old game. Weird thought. I don't know.
He was telling me how we were going to do everything. And so I said, Mr. Soros, these 2503 cases, he knew what it was. Mm-hmm. And he said, Larry, we just talked about this. We've got a shortage of police officers. Do we want them going after the carjackers, the assaults?
Number 12 on the list.
No, we want them after that. But I said, Mr. Soros, some of these people have not seen their children in decades. Their kid has been kidnapped. So it's just as serious as these other cases to these parents. And there's not just 10 or 20 of them. I bet in Tarrant County there's 50 or 60,000.
I will just tell you that this show has illuminated this issue for me. And had it not been for your show and the people on your show talking about it, I would have never known it. We never saw these cases come through the DA's office.
Right.
I just cannot imagine that this is happening on the level that it's happening, and that we are not even attempting to try to do anything about it. No. We need to attempt to try to do something about it.
Yeah, because it's the district attorney's office is for all of its citizens.
That's right.
So,
all right, I'm gonna go back here to this piece here. I haphazardly put this together because I just want to get the information out, and well, hell, no one watches it anyway. But so what's on the top part of the screen there is the data that I received from the district attorney's office on the child custody 2503. What they did over a 5-year period. So there's 13. 5 got no billed, meaning they just did it, which I find weird, but hey, let's just let that go. And then 7 of them, 7, 8, math, whatever, 7 or 8 got disposed in some way. We don't have any data on that. Was the person thrown in jail? I didn't find any data on that, but I don't have access to all the data. Yet another issue, but can't get a report card on that. But so over that period, so we had 4,400 calls that I was able to get a hold of. I was able to pull that data. Of that, 13 had some amount of work. Those numbers don't jive. So I don't know. Again, I try to bottom shelf this for everybody because that's, I guess, where we're at as a people. This matters. I mean, who you vote for. And again, talking specifically to the equal shared parenting world here, this impacts millions of people in so many different ways. This is I don't know how to bridge that mental gap with people. Everyone is impacted. You have the people that are directly impacted, which is the people that don't get to see their kids, or they're relegated to a visitor, 10%, which the judge is responsible for. And I've shown data that shows that our family court judges up to this point, in Tarrant County specifically, are ensuring that one parent walks out a visitor. Of course, you have to ask why, but you have that. And then with what little time they're getting, they're not even getting that time with their children, and no one's doing anything. And then we're shocked, like, oh my God, shocked when we pop the news on and someone loses their business and bangs a whole neighborhood up or does whatever. I mean, this is the logical connections. I mean, maybe that's the issue, is it's logical. This is what's happening. It is so important that you get off your dead ass and vote, as well as tell people what's going on. Raise the awareness. Somebody has got to do it. I don't care who. This has got to be front and center. You're seeing an example here. Taking it prima facie, Tiffany did not know about this issue. Over the last few months, she has been informed by everybody that this is an issue, and she's going to do something about it. It's raise the awareness. How did that happen? People reached out to her continually. They were informed. They had they had data. They had education. They knowledge of it, and of course experiencing it or having some whatever. And then people were able to piece those things together. Not the first time, not the second time, not the third time, but they're still they get it, and then they do something about it. If you're not liking, sharing, subscribing, doing that, it doesn't get out to the bigger thing. Again, I get to a degree that people are scared or whatever that is. But you know what? It's time to nut up or shut up. Get out there and do something. Even if it's liking and sharing, that's a half a second. You do it for everybody else's stuff. Do it for the equal shared parenting community, the things that you should be concerned with. And again, relating all back to the Tarrant County voters, November 8th, you have a golden opportunity to put a few people in place that are going to actually get something done. And this isn't like I want so-and-so or whatever. No, we have Tiffany Burks, who has a documented history, 30 years of doing the right thing. This is, I don't know, documented history. She's done the job. She's worked in the DA's office against Phil Sorrells, who was a judge, and you don't see it. And if you do your research, you'll find some very unflattering things, which I'll be putting out there for the world to see. Trust me, Phil. And if you don't vote and you expect things to change, or you wonder why your kids are taken away from you, or you wonder why your neighbors can't play anymore because of their kids, this is all, again, this is a $1.1 billion a year issue nationally, and that information is available on pissedoffparent.com. You can argue all day to the numbers or talk about your personal story. The data's the data. For the Tarrant County people, get your ass out there and vote. Good God.